Our story begins with Mukai, a high schooler who has recently started dating Saki, his childhood friend. Mukai is a loyal boyfriend who isn't afraid to publicly express how much he loves his girlfriend. But on one particular afternoon, a cute girl confesses to him. She is Nagisa, and she's been preparing for months for this confession by improving herself every day in every way possible. Mukai initially rejects her, but the more he gets to know Nagisa, the more he starts to like her. With Nagisa's help, he believes they can convince Saki, his current girlfriend, to let him date both girls. He then introduces the girls to one another, and they spend a couple hours hanging out together and getting to know each other better. When Mukai asks Saki what she thinks of Nagisa, she replies that she honestly kind of wants to date her because she's so cute. Mukai tells her that he completely understands and does what's called a pro-gamer move by bluntly telling his girlfriend that he wants to openly date both girls. She punches him and refuses and continues to refuse over and over again, no matter how much Mukai pleads. Nagisa eventually joins in and begs along with him. After being worn down, Saki reluctantly agrees to add Nagisa to their relationship. The three of them move in together because, well, anime logic. But they all agree that Mukai won't do anything indecent with either girl, which seems to disappoint Saki. He even goes as far as saying that he's willing to have his manhood surgically chopped off to guarantee no funny business, but I'm not sure anything could actually cut through his massive balls. After their first night living together, Nagisa starts to feel insecure about her place in this strange new relationship. She decides to look through Saki's phone to get to know her better, but all she finds in her browser history are questions about how to arouse your boyfriend, or what to do on your first time. On her private Twitter, however, Nagisa sees that Saki tweeted about how Nagisa is kind and cute, and how she'd like to get closer to her. Later that day, before heading to school, they agree that they have to keep their strange relationship secret when they're out in public. In order to accomplish this, they have to pretend not to know Nagisa. But when Mukai sees that she has no friends at school, he attempts to reveal everything about their relationship, only for Saki to stop him at every occasion. They ultimately agree that they're not being fair to Nagisa, so they search throughout the school for a place to eat together in private, and eventually decide on the gym's storage room. Mukai tries to punch his way into the gym, but fails miserably, while Saki just climbs through the window instead. While having lunch together, Saki realizes that Nagisa and Mukai do all the cooking and housework, and that she's not really bringing anything meaningful to the relationship. She fears that if she doesn't do anything, Mukai will soon prefer Nagisa over her. Desperate to impress him, she sneaks into Mukai's room at night and tries to seduce him, but when he calmly rejects her because it wouldn't be fair to Nagisa, she misunderstands and concludes that her boobs are just too small to please him. Upset, she runs back home, but thankfully she lives right next door. Mukai doesn't sleep for the next 3 days as he tries to get Saki to talk to him about why she's so upset. He tries to bribe her with cakes, cute cats and puppies, and even hundreds of dollars worth of gacha pulls, which he spends all without getting a single 5-star. When none of the bribes work, Nagisa decides to help Mukai by tricking him into groping her while Saki watches. In a jealous rage, she leaps over to his house, where she is now trapped and forced to confront him. She admits that she feels inferior to Nagisa and that she's tired of Mukai doing everything for them, without asking for anything in return. Nagisa surprisingly agrees that Mukai does too much for them, and says she also wishes she could do more for him. Mukai realizes that by not letting his girlfriends do anything for him, he was actually being selfish. Later that night, the girls bond over playing an online game together, but it turns out that Nagisa is really bad at it. She even fails miserably and accidentally kills Saki. But rather than get mad, Saki is just happy that she's better than Nagisa at something for once. Wanting to improve by watching gameplay videos, Nagisa decides to watch a streamer known as Milika. Mukai notices their school uniform in her video's thumbnail and realizes that Milika attends their school, and I'm pretty sure you already know where this is going. During lunch the next day, a strange girl climbs into the storage room. Mukai panics and accidentally spills the beans about him two-timing Saki and Nagisa. He then tries to buy her silence, but the girl refuses. Instead, she teases them by threatening to spread their secret, but Nagisa reveals that she knows the girl's true identity. She is Rika, the famous streamer known as Milika. They agree to keep each other's secrets, but Mukai tells her that even if she tells people about their secret, he won't tell anyone about hers. Rika realizes that they're surprisingly good people for a bunch of weirdos, and decides that she wants to join them as Mukai's third girlfriend. In reality, she only wants a boyfriend in case her fans begin stalking her. To convince Mukai, Rika tells him how amazing she is with her great body and big boobs, and says he'd have to be an idiot not to date her, and Mukai actually agrees. Despite this, Mukai is committed to his two girlfriends and refuses Rika's advances. While leaving, Saki mistakenly reveals to Rika that all three of them are living together, and when they return home the next day, they find Rika camped out in their backyard. She promises Mukai that she won't leave until she makes him fall in love with her, and he asks if that means she plans on staying forever. The next morning, Rika asks Mukai if he's impressed by her determination, but he just tells her she should go home and shower. Instead, she uses a bag filled with water to shower in their backyard, showing that she has no intentions of ever leaving. The girls begin to worry that Mukai might actually fall for Rika if this keeps up, so they put on swimsuits of their own to seduce him. Nagisa slips and falls onto him, accidentally pressing her boobs against his face, which prompts a jealous Saki to try the same. But her boobs are just too small. In the end, Mukai makes his girlfriends feel better by promising to spend more time with them, and less time worrying about Rika. The next day, however, Mukai is eager to get rid of Rika because he's worried he might be too weak-willed to resist her great personality. When Rika leaves to use the bathroom at a nearby store, the girls get rid of all her stuff. But even without her belongings, Rika still refuses to leave. Her father suddenly appears and says he's been looking everywhere for her. While trained to defend her, Mukai accidentally reveals that Rika is a streamer, and her dad loses his mind at the thought of his daughter exposing her natural talent online. He tries to delete her channel, but Mukai interferes before he can, and tells him that there's more to Rika's videos than just her boobs. At that moment, Rika falls in love with Mukai and decides to leave so she can have some time to think. Later that night, Saki goes back home to get a change of clothes. While talking to her mom, Saki becomes concerned that, because Mukai is too considerate and thoughtful, he'll never make a move on her. But her mother reassures her that her cuteness can awaken the man in him. She returns to Mukai's home, but this time in a bunny suit that's a little too big for her in the plot area. She jumps onto him, and he accidentally grabs her chest while trying to stop her dress from falling. The next day, Nagisa finds the bunny girl suit in the laundry basket, and wonders if perhaps Mukai is into cosplay. She decides to put on a maid outfit of her own, and asks Mukai what he thinks. With a serious look on his face, he tells her to try calling him master. She does, and he absolutely loves it. He loves it so much that they spend the rest of the day role-playing as master and servant, and he eventually even says that he wants her to wear that maid outfit for him once a week. A few days later at school, Mukai and Rika meet to talk. He tells her that he is to blame for everything that has happened up till now, and that if she wants to punish him, she can take humiliating pictures of him and put them online. He's even willing to cross-dress if necessary, but Mukai's clumsy attempt at apologizing only makes her love him more. She thanks him for saving her streaming channel and runs away. Unable to deny her feelings for Mukai any longer, she admits to herself that she's in love with him, which is overheard by Saki. Some time passes, and Rika barges into Mukai's classroom. She confesses to him in front of the whole class and drags him to the gym storage room, with his two girlfriends following not far behind. Shino, Saki's best friend, also secretly tags along. Rika tells Mukai that she can't stop thinking about him night and day, but when she realizes that her words just aren't reaching him, she spontaneously kisses him in front of his two girlfriends. Before leaving, she tells the group that she has no intentions of joining their weird relationship, and instead wants Mukai all to herself. Shino overhears this and realizes that Saki is being two-timed. After school, both girls are depressed that Mukai's first kiss was with another girl. Saki even goes as far as to ask God what she might have done to deserve this suffering brought upon her. But after some time to reflect, they determine that Rika's kiss didn't actually count because it had no emotion. They decide that when Mukai kisses them for real, it'll be when he just wants them so badly that he can't control himself anymore. Mukai apologizes profusely for misunderstanding their feelings, and says that they should go on a date together so they can grow even closer as lovers. As is standard in harem animes, they decide to go to a hot spring. The three lovers go out shopping for the hot spring date, with Rika secretly following them. Thankfully, she doesn't need to carry around any shopping bags because she already has a huge rack. Nagisa decides that once they get to the hot spring, she will help Saki kiss Mukai first. Rika and Shino both eventually learn about the hot spring date, and both plan to interfere, but for different reasons. Rika wants to steal Mukai away from the girls, while Shino just wants to find out if Mukai is truly two-timing her best friend. When they arrive at the hot springs, Mukai grabs both of his girlfriends' hands and holds them proudly, despite the curious glances from the crowd of onlookers. When they arrive at the hotel, the trio is taken aback by Rika leaping out of a bush. Shino arrives with an ambush of her own, and when she sees Nagisa there with them, she confirms that Saki is indeed being two-timed. But Nagisa blackmails Rika into pretending she came with her and not with Mukai. Nagisa later texts Mukai to tell him that she'll keep Rika busy so he can enjoy some quality time alone with Saki. He says this is unacceptable and runs across the rooftops to reach Nagisa, where he tells her that he doesn't want to enjoy this vacation without her. But Nagisa refuses to join them. She wants to support Saki and give her some alone time with Mukai. But when Nagisa runs away, Rika is the one who actually ends up alone with him. But rather than flirt with Mukai, she realizes that perhaps a better way to his heart is for them to get to know each other on a more personal level. They talk for a little while, and she asks him about his hobbies and dreams, and falls more in love with him with every answer. Their talk is cut short when her towel falls off and Mukai flees. While bathing with Saki, Nagisa explains that the first time she saw Mukai, she instantly fell in love with him and devoted herself to becoming his ideal woman. That's why she's willing to do anything to be with him, even if it means letting Saki kiss him first. Mukai overhears this conversation, even though it was meant to be a secret. He confronts Nagisa about this and tells her that she needs to stop holding herself back. Nagisa suddenly runs away, with Saki and Mukai chasing after her. Rika and Shino randomly see them run past and decide to join in on the chase. While running, Nagisa insists that the only way for their relationship to work is if Mukai prioritizes Saki, and Nagisa allows herself to be second best. Meanwhile, the three other girls fall back from exhaustion, so Nagisa and Mukai continue without them. He eventually catches up to her and admits that their relationship is unusual and complicated, but he tells her that she can't hold herself back anymore and that whatever problems occur, they'll figure it out together. When the others catch up, Nagisa kisses Mukai on the cheek in front of Shino and the others. She then proudly proclaims that she is also Mukai's girlfriend. Saki asks Nagisa if she really wants to compete to be Mukai's #1 girl, and Nagisa says yes, so she tells her to bring it on, and then turns to Shino to confess that Mukai truly is two-timing them. They run away from Shino and Rika and spend the rest of their hot spring date bathing together, eating together, and even sleeping together, with Nagisa not holding back any longer. Potato. After the trip, Mukai, Rika, Nagisa, and Saki all return to their normal shenanigan-filled life, with Shino now also joining in on the chaos. And with that, ends the story of how I'm never going to get a cute anime girlfriend, let alone two. But at least I've got this YouTube channel, so it's not all that bad. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Recap Sensei, and I'll see you all again in the next video.